Well, I think Richard has developed into a key player for the national team. He always showed that potential as a young player, even through the youth teams when we were very successful. He's just a very powerful guy physically, and a very dominating presence in the game as a centre back. He has a lot more pace than people give him credit for. He's an eye for danger, and he's added maturity to his game and consistency to his game at international level that wasn't always there in his club career. But in recent years he's become a key man. He's got over injury problems. He had some injury problems when I was the manager, which meant that I stuck by other players at that time, by Kenny Cunningham and Andy O'Brien in particular, Gary Breen for a while before that. And Richard was unfortunate to be at the World Cup in 2002 and not get a go. So this is a big tournament for him. I think he's even more important in our group now than Paul McGrath was in Mick McCarthy's group, because apart from John O'Shea, the rest of the group are fairly inexperienced at this level. Stephen Ward's only come into it since Kevin Kilban's injuries in the last year, so he's relatively new as an international player in the left back position. Sean St Ledger's emergence has been quite recent also. Stephen Kelly has experience but hasn't been a regular player. John O'Shea is the next most experienced player, and there's some question marks about John's fitness. I think he'll make it. I think he'll play a big part in our possible emergence from the group. And then Darren O'Dea is another one who's come into the scene fairly recently, playing the championship with Leeds. But all of them need Richard's experience at this level. They need the presence he provides, the organisation he provides, and his ability to get in the most vital blocks, even as we saw at the weekend, the stop he made from Zeko from a shot in the first half, just when it looked like that Bosnia-Herzegovina were going to be a big threat. I think he's different to Paul McGrath, and that Paul McGrath played in various positions for Ireland. He played at right back, and he played in the centre midfield, and he adapted to those roles very well indeed. I think Paul, under Jack Charlton, in Jack Charlton time and the mixed time, they both had better players than are available to Trapattoni. When you look at some of the defenders they had at the time, even Dennis Irwin, Chris Hughton, Mick McCarthy in his prime, Steve Staunton. I think individually and collectively they were probably better players than the current group, with more experience. But who knows, this group, if they perform at this tournament, could go on to have the type of career that some of those had, and the type of respect from the public. But right now, Richard is probably the key player in the team. If he was to miss out on games, he would be a massive loss. John O'Shea could probably come in and take over that role in the centre-back position, but then we'd be missing John from somewhere else in the team. So it's absolutely vital that Richard stays fit and does his stuff in this tournament, and I think he will. Well, he's a more experienced player now, and he has developed qualities to his game, a cleverness to his game that he wouldn't have had 10 years ago. Then he was playing with Niall Quinn, and he would have been obviously the younger, quicker player in the partnership. Now he is the leader, he's the captain, playing in the front position, which is quite difficult to do with the game is going against the team. But he generally gives great example to the players playing behind him. I don't know how much instruction he gives the players playing further back on the pitch, but certainly he is led by example. He scored critical goals in the qualification. He's playing with great enthusiasm. He, as everybody knows, he turns up for every game. He's generally fit for every game also, and he wants to play in every game. And he has retained that knack of scoring goals. He's also got the ability, I felt was very clear on Saturday that there was an understanding between himself and Kevin Doyle and Damien Duff that's been nurtured over years, I think, and matured over a few years playing together, and an understanding of where each of them are going to run in certain situations. And while he didn't get too many shots on the goal at the weekend, his link-up play with Kevin Doyle and with Damien particularly coming in off the right wing was very clever, and something that I think the teams in the group will find it hard to deal with. I wouldn't say he's a better player than he was 10 years ago, but I think he has more strings to his bow than he had. He mightn't be as quick, but he's still an absolutely vital part of our current team. But we do have much better options now than we had 10 years ago or 6 or 7 years ago either.
Great stuff.